Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a huge global conflict, one that's going to define our century, the fight for semiconductor supremacy. You've probably heard it called the chip war.
Okay, let's kick things off with this really powerful idea. Honestly, it's the key to understanding everything we're about to talk about. Think about it this way. Oil powered the 20th century, right? Well, semiconductors, they're the new oil. They are the resource that fuels our entire modern world.
And when I say they power our world, I mean everything. Seriously, the phone you're holding, the computer in your car, those massive AI data centers, even the most critical military defense systems. Yep, they all run on these tiny, unbelievably complex little pieces of silicon.
So that brings us to the big question, right? How did this little component, which used to be a shining example of global teamwork, suddenly become the main battlefield for the world's superpowers? What happened? All right, let's dive in and figure it out.
You know, the first thing to get your head around is that this isn't just some boring trade dispute. No way! This goes so much deeper. We're talking about a fundamental struggle for global power, and these chips, they're the ultimate prize.
You see, for decades, the whole game was about efficiency. Who could make the best chips for the cheapest price? And that created this incredibly complex, interconnected global supply chain. But that era is over. It's done. We're now in an age of what you might call techno-nationalism. It's where national security comes first, above all else. And that means every major nation is scrambling to control its own supply of this absolutely critical resource.
So how is the United States playing this game? Let's take a look. America's plan: rebuild and block, reversing decades of decline. Essentially, the U.S. woke up and realized it was dangerously dependent on Asia for its chips, and that has triggered a complete, dramatic reversal of policy. It's a two-part plan: rebuild at home and block rivals abroad.
And this chart, this really tells you everything you need to know about why the U.S. is so worried. Look at that. In 1990, the U.S. made 37% of the world's chips. By 2020, just 12%. That's a massive drop. From a national security perspective, that's not just a vulnerability, it's a huge red flag. And that's exactly what Washington is scrambling to fix right now. So what's the game plan? Well, it's a pretty clear two-part strategy. First, there's the defense, using the CHIPS Act to bring manufacturing back home. Then there's the offense, hitting China where it hurts, by restricting its access to key technologies. They're using what are called choke point controls. These are the super specialized tools and software, mostly controlled by the US and its allies, that you literally cannot make advanced chips without. The strategy is simple: cut off the supply at the source. And make no mistake, the scale of this bet by the US is just immense. We're talking about $52.7 billion in direct funding. This isn't some small subsidy program. It's a massive fire hose of public money designed to completely reshape the entire global supply chain. And you got to pay attention to those guardrails at the bottom. It's a clear message. If you take our money, you can't use it to expand your advanced chip making in China for the next 10 years. Period. Okay, so that's the US move. What about China? Let's check out their plan: build and bypass, a drive for total self-sufficiency. For Beijing, facing all these US restrictions, this isn't just about economics anymore. This has become a matter of national survival.
And in response to all that US pressure, Beijing has mobilized the entire country. We're talking about a level of state-backed investment that just dwarfs what anyone else is doing. Over $150 billion. All of that capital is being poured into one single goal: achieving complete technological independence from the West.
China's strategy here is actually really clever. It's kind of asymmetric. On the one hand, they're going all in to dominate the market for older, what we call mature chips. You know, the workhorse chips that are in your car, your microwave, your washing machine. The goal there? Get the world hooked, make everyone dependent on China for these essential parts. But at the exact same time, they're defiantly pushing ahead, trying to develop their own advanced chips, even if they have to use older, less efficient tech to get around those US sanctions.
Okay, so we've got these massive, multi-billion-dollar strategies colliding. Let's zoom out and look at the whole global chessboard. How do these superpowers really stack up against each other?
This table really lays it all out, doesn't it? You can see the whole conflict right here. You've got three huge economic blocks, all with different goals and different playbooks. The US, it's all about containing China and bringing the most advanced manufacturing back home. China, they're laser-focused on total self-sufficiency. And then you have the EU, which is trying to find its own way. They're talking about strategic autonomy because, frankly, they realize they've become way too dependent on both the US and Asia, and they don't want their future to be decided by anyone else.
So what's the end game here? While the crucial thing to understand is that this war is about so much more than just who makes the fastest processor. No, the winner of this conflict literally gets to write the rules for the future of technology.
And really, what's at stake is a clash of two totally different worldviews. The outcome is going to decide which one of these models wins out in the 21st century. Is it going to be the US-led model of market-driven globalization and interdependence? Or will it be the Chinese model, where the state calls the shots and everything is about national security and self-sufficiency?
And look, this isn't just some abstract game for politicians and generals. This directly affects you. It impacts the technology that's going to shape our society and our lives for decades. We're talking about the future of AI, the future of 5G, and even the future of the internet itself. All of it is on the line.
Which leaves us with one final and kind of scary question. Is the era of a single, global, interconnected tech system just over? Are we heading toward a fractured digital world, maybe with two competing, incompatible systems? The answer to that question is being written right now in silicon.